Okay, YouTube, this is Aster. So I wanted to review a Skillet album. Now, this may seem like it's out of my repertoire and probably something that someone of my mindset shouldn't do, but I noticed that they did do post-grunge alternative metal, so I wanted to see some of this stuff. So they are a Christian rock group, and they've charted heavily on that specific chart area, and they are from Tennessee, and they've dropped several albums. This is one of their albums that received a plaque. Now, I think it went platinum, but they also had a couple other albums that went, or one other album that went platinum, and one other album that went gold. So, the thing about this project is it's kind of like the Daughtry album. This was basically running a lot of rock music from late 2006 into 2007, but thing was as far as like the standard rock charts, which is the one I'm looking for, there were only three charting songs. So I'm gonna talk about those. And the first single was Whispers in the Dark, which is a pretty good hit. You know, that one feels like a standard rock based song, something that you'd almost hear from Evanescence. And it yeah, it gets the job done. The next single on the rock charts was The Older I Get. Now this sounds more like something Daughtry would do, and it just sounds a lot like pop. I'm surprised that it hit the main rock charts in the United States. It probably would have fared better on just the top 40 or the Billboard, but that is a pop related song and did not appreciate that one. The next song, The Last Night, is kind of in between. This is another one. Well, it's kind of similar to Whispers in the Dark, but it has piano in it. So once again, they sound somewhat like Evanescence. Kind of has like a chilling feel to it, but at the same time, it almost feels uh, heroic, like trying to look for the right word, inspiring rather than campy or brooding. So, but I did that one is one I'm gonna say I really only like two songs on this album out of 11, but this one kind of fights to be that third song. But you're gonna find out why I did not like most of this album here in a little bit. So between those, there was actually several more singles released. I think most of the songs were released as singles. Better Than Drugs, Comatose, Rebirthing were just a few of the other ones. And yeah, it basically continued well after late 2006. So, problem with why I didn't like this album is just because you don't really hear that much guitar on here. I think Daughtry and almost Nickelback and these type people who were, rock was getting to a point where pop rock seemed like the way to go versus a metal song and that sort of thing, and they don't really feel like a metal band. They feel more like a pop band that occasionally does rock. Now, obviously, you can say, well, let them be themselves, but the problem with it is when they do delve and try new things, it makes you wish that they stayed doing that versus some of the stuff they do. You're going to notice that in songs like Say Goodbye and like Those Nights and these types of songs. I mean, I found myself just wanting another song like Whispers in the Dark, and I know that they could have done it. I mean, even if you're Christian rock and the point of your efforts is to be softer, I still feel like, guitar is not entirely dangerous. So that probably could have, we could have used a couple renditions of Whispers in the Dark. The Last Night is as close as it gets. Rebirthing is another one that does this, but that did not chart on the main rock chart. So really, you had the three songs that I mentioned, and it kind of halfway goes with it. I think most people are going to say that Whispers in the Dark is the best song on this album. So, but that's from that standpoint. Depending upon how soft oriented you are, this album will either stand out more or it won't. And, as far as I thought, it's just like, I've heard way too much metal to say that this is state of the art. So I'm gonna give this album a 2.5 out of 10. And me liking 3 out of 11. That's about where that stands. So the three songs you need to hear are "The Last Night," "Whispers in the Dark," and "Rebirthing." And I think pretty quickly you'll figure out that the sheer amount of heavy guitars and instrumentation on this project is kept at a minimum. But the social score, I'll give it a 6.5, which means how well it plays around your friends, just because there were so many singles. Depending depending upon what kind of audience you're with, it'll stand out more or it won't. But can this record be topped? I think the answer is probably by quite a bit. And as far as the future, Skillet dropped an album in 2016, so we'll see where they go from there. But I've been hearing song that you may be hearing if you want to fuck with the new Skillet is the song "Feel Invincible." That's one that's really been playing on the radio, so check out for that. But here it's just a couple extra songs that have like the alternative metal taste that you may find up your alley. So